So we let go.
All right, hold on. Setting this up, guys. Sorry. Live and direct. Planet of Queens, New York. Soccer Senseis, Rodrigo Salazar. Eres Atunda. Well, he's on kind of a little crooked. Crooked like FIFA. As you see, are we as crooked as FIFA or less crooked? Sorry, guys. The hell? Here we go. All right. All right, guys. What's up, man? Soccer Senseis, Rodrigo Salazar, Eres Atunda. Today we're being joined by Sonja Missio from Unusual Efforts. She is doing a publication, a website, everything to do with soccer, but from a female perspective. But I'll let her explain them further while I connect. Ellis, what's up? Your team's playing. Are they winning? We always start with Ellis and Inter. You know, he loves Inter. I don't know why, but go ahead. Who are they playing?
Roma.
Oh, wow.
For that third place position. If they win today, they'll be only 2 points behind. If they lose, arrivederci. Terzo posto means goodbye, third place.
Goodbye.
8 points behind.
I would love that. I would so love that. I would love for Inter to go away. Sonja.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, what's up? Turn on your camera.
Okay,
if you
hold
can.
on.
Yeah.
I can do. Sorry.
All right. So. Hey.
Oh, hi, how are you
What's
guys?
up? Can you see us? I don't know if you can see us.
Well, I can now see your selfie cam.
Okay. Yeah. So you can see that. Yeah, because we were having some technical issue where people would come on the show, then they wouldn't be able to see us. So it's kind of like, this is better for interaction.
Okay, yeah, no, I can see you guys.
Cool.
So you don't see the TV?
Yeah, you don't see the TV.
Levante playing Depor.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I can see that too, but
We were talking about Inter. He's an Inter fan, unfortunately. I think he was dropped at birth or something.
my condolences.
We can't save them all. We can't save them all. But Sonja, I'm sorry. Let's backtrack. Thank you for joining us on Soccer Senseis. And you are in Canada, right?
I am. I'm in Toronto. Thank you for having me on.
Wow, love Toronto. I was just there a couple of months ago. It's a really nice city.
Really? Yeah, it's a beautiful city.
Yeah, very, very nice. So tell us about yourself, Sonja.
Well, I'm a soccer writer. I am a diehard Udinese fan. I have been doing this for most of my adult life,
Nice.
and now I'm trying to sort of spread the joy and madness and anger that is loving soccer and doing it as a profession.
Wonderful. So, before we get into Unusual Efforts, the reason why we're on a show, obviously, but also to talk about soccer. But so, how did you get into soccer though? How did you become a Udinese fan?
You have your father's born in Udine, and it becomes the most important thing in the world, and you just sort of grow up with it.
Okay.
My brothers and I, we weren't allowed playing soccer as kids. We weren't allowed watching games with my dad. It was a very sacred thing. So kind of as my rebellion teenagehood, I started watching games secretly with him and just sitting quietly in the corner. And
Nice.
I caught whatever, disease he has in loving a team that completely sucks and destroys you.
Well, I'm an AC Milan fan, so
Well, they have the same uniforms as Juve, so
We had ours
it's similar.
first. Thank you very much.
Similar.
Oh, you did really?
96. Oh, wait, I don't know if you guys can actually see
Oh yeah, right.
Oh,
We can see that. We can see that. So tell us about that. So you guys had the first black and white kit before Juve?
Yeah, they stole theirs, apparently.
Ouch.
I don't really know my Juventus history, but apparently they stole theirs from Newcastle.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That always happens back in the day. It was like some traveling fans from some far off country.
Exactly,
And then, they're playing this kit, whatever. Now they play that. So you guys were the originals. I had no idea. That's great.
Well, and I don't know how well you can see that. That's actually the crest for Udine, which is the city, which also
Nice.
happens to be black and white. So that's also where the uniform kind of came from.
Cool. It's thanks to Susie, Soozee, one E, for liking this and retweeting it. We're on Periscope and we're going to put this on the website. But so let's talk a little bit about Serie A, since I don't want to just have you on to talk about women's, the women's issues and stuff. because as a soccer journalist, you want to be, you talk about everything. Like you want,
Yeah, for sure.
definitely. So, how do you see Serie A this year?
Wish you would ask me this before Juventus crushed out of Champions League, but it's a league that is. I'm trying to be very PC, so I don't get a lot of angry messages afterwards.
Don't worry, we specialize in angry messages.
It's frustrating to watch, and I think the Bayern Juventus game really shows the inherited problems with Serie A. I mean, you have a team like Juventus who's such a giant in Italy, but you put them against any other team, and you can see how much they lack in depth. I mean, their bench cannot compare to players that Bayern has that is their sort of A level, B level, but at their C level, whereas Juventus just has their powerhouse players that work really, really well in Italy, but don't translate across the rest of Europe in the same sort of way.
So it's like...
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say a perfect example, being from Toronto, we have Sebastian Giovinco here, who is literally, last year, won every single possible award he could in MLS. He is dominating Toronto. He is, a godsend to our team. But he was benched. He wasn't used at all at Juventus. So, I mean, to kind of show that the way that Italy doesn't necessarily use their players to their best advantage is just detrimental to them. I mean, it's almost stagnant. It's a very incestuous sort of pool of talent.
But it's getting better. I mean, before there wasn't even real Italian teams weren't even in the conversation before. Now at least you have Juventus playing well, not really progressing in the Champions League, but getting there sorta, right?
I mean Inter won in 2010.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh boy, really, Sonja? You're not helping me here. Come on.
That year too.
Don't get him started on Mourinho, because forget it, we'll be here all day.
I'm hoping he comes to Toronto. I don't think that's going to happen, though.
Yeah, I don't think you want that. I don't think you want that type of pressure. That's like Trump.
He was in LA, though. He was in LA this weekend, so...
Well, hey, you
who
never
knows?
know.
Maybe he'll coach the Lakers. Maybe he'll go and coach the Lakers. So let's talk about your team specifically, Udinese. What's up with them? How was their season?
Oh, they're terrible.
Terrible.
They're awful. Actually, my brother and I were talking about this last night, if they would actually get relegated, and I really hope my father never hears me say this, but I kind of want them to. So Pazzo puts money into them. I mean, one of the big problems with Udinese that if you're not a fan, you don't realize this, is that Pazzo, the owner, owns 3 teams. And right now, his newest team, which is Watford, they've just made the Premiership this league. So he's fueling so much money into that because that's where his return on investment is going to be. And he does these sort of little things for Udinese that makes it seem like, oh yeah, no, I still care about my home team. So he built the new stadium, and he's really pushing this whole it's weird. He's really pushing this whole social media presence. If you look at Udinese social media, it rivals Juventus, Milan, Inter, everyone. But he's not actually investing in the team. He's kind of investing in more all the flair and the all the superficial things, and that is what's driving me insane. So realistically, if they get relegated and pushed down to Serie B, he may have to actually invest some money and some players into the actual team.
He does own Watford as well, doesn't he? I know this.
Yeah.
Well, I'll follow the team because of course, Toto Di Natale. We all know him, how big of a presence he is. And also because I'm Albanian, and our coach, Gianni De Biasi, used to be Udinese coach. So I followed his career path. And then
there you go.
Yeah, De Biasi used to coach them for 4 years, I believe, before he took over our national team. And he's done a tremendous job. He's taken us to our first international competition ever, which is a big news.
Yeah.
But mentioning the Pozzo family, they own Watford as well.
Yep.
And
Granada.
And I know in an interview for an Albanian newspaper, De Biasi mentioned that he wanted the Watford job, but apparently it wasn't given to him. It was given to another coach, another Italian coach. I don't remember the name, but he's done a great job with Watford. He's taken them to the Premier League, which they hadn't been.
A great job against my Arsenal. Thanks.
Oh wait, are you an Arsenal fan?
Yeah, I am.
2010 when you guys beat us out of, or not 2010, 2011 when you beat us out of Champions League in the qualifier. Never forgiven Arsenal for that.
Sorry, not sorry.
And he also owns Granada, doesn't he? Or has he
Yeah.
sold his stake
not
there?
in Spain. Yep.
So yeah, those two teams, Granada seems to be fighting for relegation, and he
Yeah.
does seem to switch players. We've seen that with Lucas Muriel. We've seen it with Zuniga, with the Colombian players. So he does
Yeah.
do a lot of transfer here and there. It
It's
seems.
almost like baseball, where like he like moves them up from the farm team, but Udinese is the farm team, and it shouldn't be, which is the frustrating part.
No,
And like,
go ahead.
I mean, you have the Natali and whatnot, but at this point, he's almost become a mascot for the team, and I don't mean any disrespect in saying that, but he's not performing at the same level, and nor should he. He's 36, 37 years old. Like, you can't just keep relying on the same striker who does the exact same thing. I mean, his volleys in are fantastic, but you kind of have to build the team a lot more.
And you know, to your point of getting relegated, I mean, I don't wish you'd get relegated, but I mean, comparing it to Arsenal, sometimes you have to fail a little bit. Well, specifically in Arsenal's case, I feel like the only way we're going to get better is if we go really bad. Like if we finish under Tottenham, which even hurts to say, and we don't make top four, I think that's the only way that Wenger's going to wake up and say, oh, you know what, maybe we do need to invest in the squad because our first team is great, yeah, okay, wonderful, but then after that you have these guys that are like not up to par, and it happens every year that we're fighting for fourth place, third place. We get kicked out of the Champions League by Barcelona every year. I mean, after a while, you're like, come on, it's sad. But that's the model. That's the model that he follows in a way. So.
Well, I mean, not everybody can compete with Leicester this year. What a dark horse! That just
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy out of nowhere. I mean, look at these players. I mean, the Japanese kid, what's his name?
Okazaki.
Okazaki. I mean, I remember selling him in FIFA. I'm like, this guy sucks. I'm like, come on. You play for some German team. I'm like, yeah, okay. I sold him for something. I don't know, like a draft pick or something. It was bad. I mean, but he's playing really well now. I mean, Mahrez is great. I mean, but remember, next year they're going to play Champions League, so it's going to be a whole different ballgame for them.
Oh, for sure. Well, unless Ranieri keeps shooting his mouth off and they get banned or something along those lines. But
so let him have fun with that for now. But Sonja, let's talk about unusual efforts. I mean, as soon as I heard about it, I wanted to talk to you guys, get you on the air. I know Kristen is also part of down with the program, right? With the
yeah, so she's a co-founder with me. She's actually the CEO and editor-in-chief, chief editor. I forget her actual title. I probably learned that. And it kind of started as a pipe dream we had one night when we were just talking about it, and it was sort of like, well, I mean, we can talk about it for ages. Why don't we actually do something about it? And it slowly came to be. I mean, I remember we started talking about it in November, and we launched the very end of February this year. So we really hit the ground running with it, and we are so excited to be able to launch it and all the support that we've been getting for it. It seems like people have been waiting for this for a really long time. But I should probably explain what it is.
Yeah, please, and give us the URL and the website and the Twitter handle, everything.
Okay, so what Unusual Efforts is, it's a but content creation media for women. So whether it's writing, photography, even our back-end web development is all by women. And it's almost like a starting point to launch your career. So the way that I've been describing it to people, it's like we're an academy team, and we're trying to get you prepared for, the first division team by being able to showcase writing and different media within the industry. So we're not just another blog that is going to, produce content. We're producing content to eventually be picked up by national, international sources and different media streams that way. And so we've started this Indiegogo fundraising campaign to do a few things. One, just for professional basis, being able to pay our web developers and artists, and two, for fair wages in writers, which is a huge problem across the entire industry. Don't get me wrong, I 100% realize that, but women especially, because they're often given either more junior jobs or less analytical and a less, I don't know how to describe it. They're usually given more repetitive work or more retroactive work rather than analytical or proactive work. So they usually get paid more at the bottom of the scale for writing. So that's the other part of the fundraising campaign, for us to be able to pay our writers a fair and equal wage.
So you're like gonna be a publication, also like an agency for
Kind of,
talent.
yeah. And
Okay.
like I said, we're not looking to retain our writers. We're looking to help them advance their careers. So we are looking for anyone who wants to write basically about anything. That's the other thing. We are not based on women's soccer or anything. You can, as long as it has to do with, a soccer ball, we are willing to accept it. And so it's also showcasing talent and stories that usually don't get told. Just because, especially being in North America, you hear mostly English soccer, MLS, occasional Spanish, occasional German, occasional Italian. So we're looking for South American soccer, various African country soccers, wherever and whatever anyone wants to write. So it's a really nice, kind of global, interesting point of view.
Okay. Alice?
In terms of women's soccer, how is women's soccer progressing in Canada? We've seen the emergence of a few women's soccer leagues here in the States, but I always wondered what Canada has done recently.
I think if you were to ask any local Canadian, they could probably name more women's soccer players, Canadian women's national players, than they could name men's players. I mean, Christine Sinclair is a national hero here. Like, everybody knows who she is. She's very, very recognizable. I think the women's team does have a lot more support mentality, if that makes sense, than the men's team. Mainly because it is more of a niche market. I mean, the women's national team is up on the upper echelons of FIFA rankings, whereas our men's team, I think we're below 100 last time I checked, but that could have changed right now. I don't know. So, I mean, it is nice that they are a little bit more successful than the men's, but...
Do they have an amateur women's soccer league in Canada, or are they also... Do they have an amateur soccer league, or also the...
I mean, it's not as big as the States, and a lot of Canadian players go to play in the States, but I think that's also just indicative of Canada-American relations as well. I mean, look at, like, the CFL and the NFL. It's more people have a tendency to gravitate towards the NFL.
What do you think Yeah.
Sorry.
No, sorry to interrupt. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, too, well, it's also not a lot. The States does offer more money for professional players. So if you look at somebody like Sydney Leroux, who left Canada because the States were able to offer her money and funding and her education and whatnot, and then she decided to declare herself an American, and actually played for the American national team despite being born and raised in Canada. I mean, it is more ludicrous.
Ludicrous, you said it, ludicrous.
I think that was a Freudian slip right
Freudian.
What do you think? What do you think the men's national team has not progressed recently in the past 20 years or so?
It's too cold up there. They can't.
Yeah. Is it because of the rivalry with the winter sports, or there's...
Honestly, I think there's a few arguments about it. I don't know how legitimate they are. One thing is, in North America, after the age of like 14, 15, soccer is considered more of a girls' sport in North America. I don't know how true that actually is, but it is an argument. There's not a lot of funding in the same way that there's obviously in hockey and basketball in North America. Or in Canada, sorry. Canada hasn't made a World Cup since in my lifetime. Like, the last time they made it was 1986, and I hadn't been born yet. So there's a lot of work to be done. So,
actually, can you say the URL so when people are watching right now, they can support the Indiegogo campaign and everything else?
The easiest way is probably just to go to indiegogo.com and just search Unusual Efforts.
Okay, Unusual Efforts. Okay, and the name of that, I saw you tweet about why you named it Unusual Efforts. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's the idea that women shouldn't have to sort of extend these unusual efforts in order to just do what they love to do, and it was sort of a nice sort of reminder of the struggles that a lot of people before us and after us will go through in order to not to sound easy, but to make their dreams come true, but to be able to have a stable career.
And it's easy to discount, like, I guess the struggle, the plight of women in sports journalism, but it really it's nuts the amount of vitriol and craziness that happens when women, sometimes female sports reporters come on. It's really bad. Like, the stuff that people say on Twitter and Facebook, it's horrible. I mean, you look at what happened with Erin Andrews. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. for sure. And like, I mean, the amount of times that I've been sent a message saying like, go back to the kitchen or something ridiculous like that, which is kind of funny because I am in my kitchen right now. Jokes on them. But yeah.
You making poutine?
Pardon?
You making what, poutine? What's that called? Poutine?
Poutine?
I never had that. It sounds weird. No, it's fries and gravy and cheese.
Fries, gravy, and cheese curds. Yeah, the cheese curds is the important part.
You lost me at the cheese curds. Sorry.
Oh my god, no, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Okay.
We
So
have poutine at McDonald's here now.
cool. Is this gonna be like a publication, or is it gonna be a website? Like,
Yeah, so it's going to be, it's kind of a threefold idea right now. So it's going to be the website. One of the perks for the Indiegogo campaign is going to be an actual print journal that we're going to send out if that's the perk somebody chooses. And then there's also going to be the digital version of that as well. Plus, we're also going to have a podcast.
nice. Okay. And Kristen, I've been following Kristen for a while. She's writes for which platforms?
She writes for a bunch. I think right now also she's kind of writing on her own as well. She's a big Aston Villa fan, so maybe right now we'll not talk about that aspect of things.
Hey, wow. Ouch.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kristen. That's bad.
Championship down the corner.
Yeah.
It's not looking good for them.
And I'm thinking about the Canadian men's team. Like, I don't even know a player. The only guy I know is the guy from QPR. He's a winger. What's his name? Do you know? Remember his name?
There's one De Guzman.
No, De Guzman. Is he Canadian?
There's one Dutch one,
So there's
but
Julian and Jonathan. Jonathan declared his citizenship, and Julian here plays for Ottawa Fury, a little bit north of me, and he is Canadian national.
Okay. So, what has been the response to Unusual Efforts? Have you been getting a lot of positive feedback?
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be very excited for it. I mean, we have really great writers who just have interesting topics, and people seem ready for this change, this idea of no sort of bureaucracy and kind of fighting over, territory over it, and we're just being able to launch and write about good soccer.
What I think is cool about what you guys are doing is that you said, you know what? We are making the opportunities, because you're like, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, but you know what? You can do it yourself. You guys can edit yourself, can take your own pictures, can write just as well as we can. As stupid as that sounds, it's just it shouldn't be like that. I mean, to be honest, sometimes I'd rather watch an NWSL match than an MLS match. To be honest, I mean, we've talked about this so many times. We want for us, it'd be great for the MLS to be wonderful, a wonderful league that we want to watch every week. It just isn't, And as much as the MLS stands, we're gonna want to say that it is, and American exceptionalism. We're better than the Dutch league at least. No, you're not. You're not. It's not there yet. So I much rather watch NWSL. I mean, we're going to go interview some of the players from the Sky Blue FC in a couple of weeks, just because I think it's important to really cover that. And now in Colombia, there's a women's soccer league now, so women's professional soccer league. So it's really good that that's going on. And Sonja, I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah. And anything we can do to help out, we'll make the copies, we'll make the coffee, we'll be the interns while you guys do the work, right?
Thank you so much. I may hold you to making the coffee part of this.
You don't have to make too many copies anymore. Everything is digital now. But Sonja, thanks so much for coming on. Everybody, go Unusual Efforts. Look it up on Indiegogo. They can follow you on Twitter, right, as well. What's the best thing to do on Twitter?
The Unusual Efforts account is at Unusual Efforts, or I personally am at Sonja, Sonja Missio, Missio. That's the best way to find.
Cool. Again, thanks again, Sonja, and
thank you.
And I'm sure you'll be very successful. We'll have you on again. Talk about Udinese winning the Serie A title in 2035. All right, Sonja. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.